entire state to the Golden Gates. This is Quad Radio USA. Now, with all the dirt from the world of ATV motocross and GNCC racing, here's Mr. 10 Seconds, Rodney Tomlin.
And a good evening to everyone as we welcome you out here to Quad Radio Live for a Wednesday, December 26, 2012, the final Quad Radio Live broadcast of 2012, getting ready to get underway tonight with one of the biggest legends and one of the greatest racers of AMA ATV motocross racing history. He is the true and only, right now, AMA Pro ATV two-time AMA Pro ATV motocross champion. That is none other than the infamous and famous Joe Byrd. We're going to be talking with that rider coming up in just a little bit. We're going to be surprised, I think, to find out some of the things that Joe's got up his sleeve for 2013, and excited all at the same time as he made announcements here not too long ago that he and his mechanic, Bill Mickey, who was with him through some championships and some number 2s and number 3s there a few years ago, is back with him, and Joe says he's ready to go and tackle 2013 and try to win on the new Honda and capture a third Pro AMA ATV National Championship title. We'll be talking with Joe. We'll be talking with Bill Mickey as well, coming up here on Quad Radio Live tonight. And man, I tell you, if you've got any questions or anything you'd like to pass along, be sure and jump in the social stream there in the Ustream channel. If you're listening on Ustream, you can find us there. We're also in the chat room. We'll try to address any questions that you may have along that line. Also want to take this opportunity to say thanks to a few great folks, including Tire Balls, the high-performance flat-proof tire inflation system. You want to contact your Tire Balls rep, Pat McGuire. That's LP, Little Pat McGuire, at 724-272-2998, and find out more about how you can get an additional 10% savings and 10% off on your sponsorships for 2013 from Tire Balls. They're by emailing Pat, or you can actually call him up there. But the email, if you click on the quadradio.com website on the top banner there, click the Tire Balls icon, and that'll take you right to where you want to go to get that email out to him. Also want to send out a special thanks to our friends there at Impact Solutions Factory Authorized Service Center. Elka Suspension there at 985 Harris Highway in Parkersburg, West Virginia, 304-863-0025. You can find them on the World Wide Web at ImpactSolutionsATV.com and at Facebook, Impact Solutions. And also thanks to our friends at SSI Decals for all the great stickers. And be sure and check out what Ian and all the folks over there can get going for you. And as we said, we've got big things coming up here in just a couple of moments, including Joe Byrd and Bill Mickey. Stand by. Quad Radio Live continues in just a moment.
The high-performance run-flat tire ball system is a must for any trail rider and off-road racing enthusiast. Tire balls are perfect for ATV, UTV, motorcycle, motocross, military, industrial, and agricultural vehicles. Already a tire ball user? Need replacement balls or tire ball accessories? Not a problem. Tire Balls has a full selection of individual tire ball cells for any model of tire ball in production. Plus, Tire Balls has a full line of accessories to help you keep them running at their full potential. Get all your tire ball and tire ball accessories today by calling 724-272-2998 or by emailing pat.offroad@gmail.com. Mention Quad Radio and receive an additional 10% off on already great price products. 2013 sponsorship opportunities can be emailed to the same address. Tire Balls. Any terrain, anytime, no flats.
Coming January 15th, the Internet's newest and most comprehensive deer hunting network, thebuckjournal.com, will be your source for all the information you want.
Like right now, an hour after you're in your stand, that may just be what it takes to get him up, because the younger, the yearlings are now able to come into estrus. Coming into estrus just means coming in ready to be bred.
TheBuckJournal.com will be your source for the information you need.
Going out and finding articles from all over the country. Important news, poachers getting busted, states bringing out new stuff, rules and regulations like the Indians in Wisconsin wanting to do night hunts, federal judge shooting them down, just any kind of information that you're looking to find on hunting.
And of course, thebuckjournal.com will be the source for the big buck stories and tips from the world's most renowned hunting experts and enthusiasts, including guys just like you.
Blind, killing giants, and I'm just like, wow, they're controlling their scent, they're controlling everything, and the deer just think it's nothing. I mean, those guys really have perfected the science. But one time I saw Mark Drury with his daughter, and they had a Mr. Buddy Eater. I'm like, ha, gotcha.
For the information, for the news, and the stories and all the hype, thebuckjournal.com, coming January 15th.
And welcome back to Quad Radio as we get set to talk with the legendary Joe Byrd and his newly rehired championship-winning mechanic, Bill Mickey, here on Quad Radio. And welcome to all the masses here tonight. Got a nice little showing of numbers starting to pop in tonight, and rightfully so, as we had made mention, Joe Byrd, we'd said, is a big part of what AMA ATV Motocross and ATV Motocross racing worldwide is, and he has helped shape it today. They call him the professor. He's from the Joe Byrd Quad Riding School and a two-time, and technically, Joe Byrd, you are the only two-time AMA Pro ATV Motocross champion, man, whenever you break it down like that.
Yeah, that sounds good. You can say that as much as you want, Rodney.
And the reason that I can say that, Joe Byrd, is because, remember, now John Natale's got 2 championships under his title, and, there are several out there that do have 2 championships to their credit, but none under the true Pro AMA ATV hood. So that right there, it kind of segregates you from the rest of the ATV champions, I guess, in the world, man. That's just one small thing that I guess kind of helps segregate you from the rest of the world out there, man.
Yeah, that's an honor to be able to say that, and two, just being the competition that we had in those years. That's when the heyday of ATV racing, all the factories and all the top riders. Not saying that we don't have top riders today, but when everybody was making 6-figure salaries and the factories were putting $3 and $4 million worth of effort into it, that's when we were fortunate enough to win our championships and had lots of connections made, and a lot of sponsors that we still have today, even though we've had a few bad years, for several different reasons. We've kept the same sponsors. They've been loyal to us, and it's been really good. And those were some good times, and we look forward to a few more years of those.
That's great, man. And you have probably some great longevity in the sport. And even if people have ever asked the question, is Joe Byrd ready to retire? I think that the news releases and some of the tweets and all the information, and actually all the new social media that you're getting involved with, I think that some people might say it might be a rebirth for Joe Byrd, man. I mean, Joe Byrd is ready to come out of the shell once again and start winning races, man. And you proved that this year. You took a win this year, and you looked strong, and but you had a lot of downs, man. But the one thing that I can say, every time that I talk to you this year, as frustrated as you were, man, you seem to be positive and optimistic every time that I talk to you, man.
Well, the fun thing is I still enjoy riding that four-wheeler. When that becomes where it's no fun, that's the day I retire. And if everything goes as planned, I'm going to try to do this for 3 more years, just so, hopefully that we can stay healthy, it still stays fun, and the money is still there, because we're still making a living doing it. But hopefully, end of 2015, that may be my farewell year. That'll be 30 years as a professional athlete.
Wow.
And that'll put me in the record books. I think right now, as of to date, I've raced a four-wheel ATV longer than anybody alive. I've been doing it for 28 years, and that surpasses, I think, Doug Gust and everybody out there. It's a long time on 4 wheels, but you know what? We've had a good time. We've had a good career, and it's been really good to me. We've made crazy money, and when most people said that you race what for a living, and you can make a money racing a four-wheeler. Back in the 90s, we were doing it for a living, and we finally got some really good rock star money for 5-6 years there, a few years ago, and we were living it up. And now it's back to the money's not as good again, but we've been doing it for so long. We know how to continue making money with the riding schools and with the bikes and with the sponsors that have been loyal to us. So we've done really good. Yeah, we've had a few bad years and just a lot of drama in my personal life, and a lot of crazy things have happened, but that's all in the past now. I've hired Bill back, and me and Bill won a national championship together. We almost won 2008 and 2009. If it wasn't for a Stater in '09, and my good buddy Josh Creamer, we'd had another championship. So that's that's in the past, and we're looking for the future. We've got a lot of good technology behind us. We got some new 2013 Hondas, and we've learned a lot over the last couple of years, and kept a lot underneath our hat because we wasn't up front in winning, and now we've started all this social media with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and my website, and everything's updated, and we got a whole new outlook on life. And Bill's excited. I'm excited. I've lost 46 pounds since the race of season last year.
Wow.
I was too heavy. The bike was too heavy, and we just, you said it, we're rebirthing, and we're going to come out swinging this year and see what we can do.
Wow, 46 pounds, Joe, man. That is, man, you're going to be like a whole different person this year.
Yeah, I was 242 naked during the season last year. Now I'm 196. Well, I was 196. Christmas probably killed me. I'm probably a little more than that now. But we've lost a lot of weight. We're losing weight on the bike, and we're hoping to be several pounds lighter. Me and my ATV on the starting line last year. I talked to Joel Hectrick last year, and he and I put some numbers together, and he was 100 pounds lighter than I was. Him, his ATV, and me and my ATV on the starting line, and that's hard to compete with those. With that, I don't care how fast or how tough and how bad I think I am. 100 pounds is 100 pounds. That's like, Joel and his girlfriend racing, tandem against me on the starting line. That's hard to overcome.
Yeah, I can understand that, man. That is pretty wild. And I do remember, man. I mean, you looked good last year. I mean, that was one thing that you kind of prided yourself whenever we started the 2012 season. To be honest with you, I mean, you said you were stronger, you were as fit, or probably more fit than you'd ever been in your career. You said you'd put on the weight, but you'd hope that it wouldn't be a deterrent. But obviously, it did hold you back quite a bit.
Yeah, I gained too much muscle last year in the off season, and that really hurt. I was bench pressing 365 pounds, squatting 500, but you know what? We're not on the track benching weight and curling and doing all that stuff. I just want to do that for my personal health. Getting older, I just want to get strong again. And I gained way more muscle than I thought it was, so we had to lose that because I could lift the quad up and throw it across the start line, but I couldn't go across the checker flag first. So that was definitely the wrong move, but it is what it is. We had other issues last year, and it wouldn't have mattered whether I was in 100% shape or not. We had too many mechanical problems and just stupid gremlins that come up and bit us, and it is what it is. We've learned a lot, and that's, you're never too good to learn, and once we think we are, then we're going to be too cocky and we're going to go backwards. So
yep.
we made a lot of improvements and did a whole lot of homework this last couple months, and Bill was looking to come back. He had a good time in the NHRA with Clay Milliken and had a lot of fun. He was itching to get back on motocross, so we have talked for about a year now, and it just is a good fit to get back at it and get us another title.
Wow. So, Bill Mickey, you're joining us right now. You with us right now, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, well, welcome back aboard the Joe Byrd Quad Riding School team there, man. I mean, obviously it's a great combination of you and him. I mean, you have had some successful years, and it sounds to me like you're pretty excited to be back, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like Joe said, we've been talking, the last year or so about trying to do something again. Timing worked out where we were able to get together, and we're both excited to get back out and start winning.
Wow, and that's pretty interesting. Now he said that you were with Clay Milliken doing some drag racing stuff, man. What got you away from the ATV motocross side of things? Is that what took you away from Joe?
Yeah, I ventured out and tried some different things, and I ended up with Clay the last 2 years, and that was fun. It was definitely something to learn. I'd never worked on anything like that. It was a lot of fun, but at the end of the day, I was just missing being in the dirt, and I just had to get back to it.
All right, man. I don't know what's going on with your audio there, but something sounds kind of funny. Have you got the computer on in the background, too, or something?
No.
Okay, well, they're kind of cleared up there just a little bit. But, wow, that's pretty wild. So, I mean, so when did you start flirting with the idea of coming back and joining forces with old Joe Byrd here, man?
About this summer, I kind of really started thinking about it and getting back into it. I started riding myself again a little bit, and that really kind of got me pumped on it. I see Joe was struggling a bit, kind of seemed like, and we talked it out, and I said, I think we can get back together and try to get this going again. Back to the 07, 08, 09 years, and try and get back up front.
So how excited were you whenever you guys really started talking serious about it, man? Did you really get that fire back? Did you start getting the adrenaline flowing? Were you getting the taste of it, man?
Yeah, I did. My toolbox had been sitting for a while, and we started talking. I was living about an hour away from him. I came down for probably 3 or 4 days over the course of 2 weeks, kind of hanging out in the town, looking around, and I ended up going and getting my tools all cleaned up and had my pump loaded and ready to go for probably 3 or 4 days before we actually decided to get this thing going.
Well, Joe, I guess the big question here for me is what would make you decide that you wanted to do that to begin with, man? Why would you want to hire Bill Mickey back, man? He was doing drag racing. I'm sure you'd think that he'd be pretty satisfied over there.
Well, Bill and I got along really well whenever we worked together, and whenever he left, it was just the timing was, the factories had started pulling out, and he was burnt out, and I was, I'd had a lot of drama going on with me, and it was just time to take a break. And now that, we continue to be friends, and now that he's, he learned a lot over with the NHRA side, a lot of stuff that we're going to apply to what we're doing now, and he learned a lot over working with NASA and stuff, so it was just time to get a new, fresh start again, and what better way to do it than start with somebody you actually won with. When you start over with somebody completely new, first you got a 6-month learning curve, and most of the time, you get somebody new, hire a few months before the season starts, and about halfway through the season, they're gelling pretty good, and then the season's you either got tanked or you got lucky and it worked out, and we just haven't had that luck in the last few years, so with Bill and I having a good relationship for the last 3 years, it was just time to hire somebody that I trust and he trusts, and I know when I get on the bike, nothing's going to fall off, nothing's going to happen. He puts his heart and soul into it, and that's what I was needing.
Yeah, that's definitely what you were needing, Joe. It was obvious. I know, and I say this with as much respect as I can say it with it, but, I got the feeling this year that you were getting tired of burning up the water truck roads, man. I think you probably put more laps on the water truck roads than you did on the motocross track in some races, it seemed like. So to know that you've got the machines behind you now, you've got the mechanic that's going to keep those machines together, man, the confidence rolling into 2013 has got to be super huge, as we have mentioned. And with that, man, confidence is something that you've always really been full of, man. Like you say, you've been in this business for nearly 30 years. 28 years is what you're heading into right now, man. That's pretty impressive stuff, Joe. And, before we get too much further in, I do want to talk a little bit about that. I want to jump back and talk about Joe Byrd and let people know about Joe Byrd. But and we also want to talk about some things that's coming up here pretty immediately. And I know that there's some people that want to know, probably itching to know about some schools that you've got coming up. And we'll lead back into the schools in a little bit when we go back. But let's talk a little bit about what's coming up in Arizona here right after the first of the year, because not only have you had big things going on, you've got big things coming up.
Yeah, we've got the schools actually went down. They had a bad couple of years with those schools in 10, 11, and then actually 10 and this year, 10 and 12 haven't been too good. 11 actually picked up, but it's all been overseas. I've had a lot of overseas schools, in Australia and South America and over in Europe and, just a lot of different places. And I've had a few here in the country, but it seems like this year, the last 6 months, has really started to pick up. The overseas stuff has stayed the same. It's been really good for me. But here in the domestic has been really picking up. I've got a school here the next 5 days with a gentleman from Iowa, and a couple of sons are coming down. Unfortunately, we got a little bit of snow on the ground, so we got to go to my sand track, and I'm going to go out there tomorrow and work my butt off to get it ready. And then next week, I've got one in California, and then the weekend after that, I've got one in Arizona. So we'll be fortunate to go to A1 Supercross and Anaheim Supercross, get the first 2 rounds of those, get to visit some sponsors, and rub elbows with some of my buddies out there that I haven't seen in a while, and do some schools while I'm out there. And then I come back, and I've got a school in Florida, and then we're going back down to Argentina for a couple of schools down there, and hopefully get the race, their big beach race, their end of the summer sand race they had down in Pinamar, and that'll be the Enduro del Verano. So that'll be a good, interesting time. And then we're in the process of scheduling the rest of the year's school schedule this next week for after that. So we're looking at a lot of busy trips and a lot of schools and races coming up. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody and getting the schools built back up here in the United States.
Wow, Joe, that's amazing, man. You're like the world's greatest, I think, ATV ambassador, man. I mean, going all over the world, teaching these schools. I mean, it's amazing. You've introduced so many different regions and people and areas to ATV motocross. You've helped them hone their skills, and probably one of the biggest and coolest success stories that I think that we can tell is from one of those schools that you had. I don't know if you went to Ireland, whether she came to the United or whether they came to the United States or not, but Emma McQuaid and those folks that came over there at the end of the season to race, man. I mean, that was so cool to see them be able to come over here and win. And not only that, I mean, you've had people all throughout the entire season last year from different countries that raced the entire circuit last year.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people here, and like I said, that's where all the international schools have really come in. Not only do we, obviously, try to make a few dollars doing it, but the most important thing is just selling the sport of ATV racing. It's such a good family-oriented sport and such a good time. And, it's really one of the cheaper forms of motorsports you can get into. I mean, people think it's really expensive, and it is, but it's way less expensive than auto racing or truck racing or anything else that's out there. And it's basically, you're going to college or university to learn how to race and know, something else when you get older, hopefully. There is money in ATV racing, not like it was, but, it's an entry level to get started. And, look what somebody like Jimmy Johnson, he used to race motorcycle motocross, and he went to the Mickey Thompson Stadium Series in the lights class, and then he goes off-road truck racing, and then he goes NASCAR. So it's just all stepping stones. It depends on how far you want to go, but we're fortunate to get to travel the world, and we had Vital here all year from Argentina. He won some classes last year. We had the girl from Ireland here. She won Loretta Lynn's. She actually jumped on one of our backup bikes here and rode here a few days with us, did some schooling and went there and really set the world on fire, and they had some good races going on there. So it's an honor to be able to do that. Just to have your name in somebody's resume that they've come here to do that and won some races and you had a part of it. It's rewarding to be able to do that and say I've helped.
I don't doubt that a bit, man. I mean, just to see it come to fruition for you. And what I think is really cool, unless I go digging around, I never know this stuff or never hear about it. You don't come up bragging about it or anything. And I guess you can be commended on that. But Joe, you need to get that information out, man. Let people know that those guys are there like that, man. Brag on yourself a little bit, man. Pat yourself on the back a little bit. I know it's kind of tough sometimes, but hey, you do good things for the sport, and we need to recognize that. Hey, before we move on, I got a couple of people in chat here. I got a Peanut 903 here. It says, Joe, we want to see you on a TT track, man.
I used to race TT back whenever you had to run motocross and TT to be the national champion. I think we run 17 years or so. I raced motocross and TT, so I've done it since the late 80s. You know what I mean? So the problem I had with TT was I was, 6'5", 205 pounds, and I was racing against Shane Hitt that was, was he 5'7", 120 pounds soaking wet with chains in his pocket. So it was hard to compete. I think I finished second place. My best ever TT race was in Danville, Virginia. So I've been there, done that. We had a lot of fun, but when you're a big boy like me, the two strokes on a TT track just really hurt me. Tim Farr struggled with that too, and he was 30 pounds lighter than me. So it was a lot of fun. I do, especially with motocross. As soon as strokes, that power to weight ratio just went up the roof for me. Yeah, that's when I started pulling whole shots and winning races. So,
well, at least you know why you weren't successful there. But I got to ask you this question, since we're on the subject. Now, if I know that there's been some talk of possibly, we did it at Budds Creek one year, and somebody mentioned the possibility of doing one or two this year, of having maybe a TT in conjunction the same weekend where it's feasible to have at an ATV motocross. If they had a TT event, would you run over and try that one evening or anything like that? Would you be willing to do something like that? Just for fun?
For the fun factor, I'd love to do it. I'd love to get back on TT track and push those guys around, because TT is really where you learn how to set up an ATV. A lot of these guys that come out of school, they're pretty green. They don't know, about weight bias or master camber towing and ride height, how all that works. And that's where you learn a lot of it. So I enjoy that aspect of TT racing. And as long as the sponsor commitment didn't mind me doing that, and it was after the Motocross National, I'd love to. I think it'd be a lot of fun. We just have to make sure we have something set up properly, or borrow maybe one of Harold's bikes or something. I don't want to go out there and look like a goober and lose.
You want to give him a run for the money. Hey, I don't blame you about that. I'd like to see something like that.
If I can't be competitive, I'd rather sit and watch on TV. If I can't be, It was the few years I've had, I've learned one thing. If I can't be competitive up front, I don't want to do it. I would rather sit and watch. I'm too competitive.
There you go. Well, and if you can go have some fun every once in a while like that, you don't have to win, but like you say, man, it's always nice to win. Okay, Joe, I got another guy here in the chat room. He says that this is Gus Barreto. Do you know this guy? He says that you and him went jogging at the end of the world together, I guess.
Yeah, I was just down in Ushuaia, Argentina, a week and a half ago. That's the bottom of the globe. It's right next to Antarctica, and that's a very, very interesting place. And when I got off the plane, I was kind of struck. I had my shorts and a sweater on, and it was, I think, 6 degrees outside with the wind chill. It was cold, so we were there, and there was a real beautiful country, really nice folks. I didn't even know that ATV racing was that popular there, but they had 70 riders in their ATV club, and I think I had 20 riders in that particular school. And my maximum school is 20 riders, so it was a full, 3 whole days to get done. And I think we got up at 3:30 when it got daylight. That was definitely interesting for me to be that far south on the globe.
I can imagine, man. That would be awesome to be able to do the things that you do like that. I mean, especially down there close to where the Mayans lived.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's what's so fun about what I do. I get to travel the world. I've been about every continent, met all the real nice, interesting folks, and just meet a lot of good people. And just to see what everybody does for a living and how they race and what just got myself is far surpassing the amount of money I could ever make. It's just such a educational experience, and I've really enjoyed it.
Well, Joe, you say you've been doing school since 1993. You've been racing, you say, now professionally, you say this is your 28th season. Is that what you're telling me?
I've been racing for 28 years. I started off in 1986 as an amateur, but I was an amateur a few races and then jumped into pro. I had to talk about every race I've ever raced since 1986. I come home after every race race number 527 or whatever it may be, and then where it was at, who won if I didn't win, how much money I made, how many riders were in my quotes, personal quotes I tell myself, hey, I pulled the whole shot, or I had a bad weekend, or I was madder than hell, or whatever it might have happened. I keep my stuff, and it's honest. Whether I screwed up or whatever happened, I tell myself a little paragraph of what happened. And I've been doing that since 1986, and every race I've ever raced is in that logbook.
You haven't got me on that list anywhere, have you? That guy right there.
I'm pretty sure I've got some comments and quotes about you from there. Some good, some might be funny, or might be a bad one or two, depending on how nice you was to me that weekend. But one thing I have put in there is you definitely have a phrase, no doubt about it. I wish I could make $1 every time you said that.
You told me that before, no doubt about it. And you know something else. That's great, man. And one thing that I can say, Joe, I'm going to tell you this. Any time that I have ever said anything, and if it has caught you cross, I have done that on purpose, not to make you mad, to make you my enemy, but to actually try to light a fire under your tail and say, hey, Joe, give me some fire. I want to see some fire out of you. That's why I do what I do whenever I do it, man. It's out of love and respect. I know sometimes it might come across a little bit brash, and you're thinking, what's he doing, man? He's butchering me up there right now. No, I'm actually just trying to fire you up a little bit. That's all I'm really trying to do, man. No doubt.
You know what? It's good. I don't mind people talking about it, good or bad, because you quit talking about me. That's when I'm worried. That means I'm in the back of the pack not doing anything, or I'm not a threat. So I don't mind people talking about me. Just keep on, good or bad. I don't care. I got big enough shoulders. I'm a big boy.
There you go, man, and that's great. And I want to say hey to the Ohio crew checking in and in the chat room this evening as well. And Joe, you bring up a good point, man. Good or bad, man, people are talking, and that's one thing that you can say about you. You probably, and I made the mention and the teasers and stuff leading into tonight's show. You love you or hate you. You're one of the greatest ATV motocross racers of all time, period. And I think that anybody that's listening to this can probably get a glimpse and catch a glimpse of exactly what I'm talking about here. But, the one thing that you do, man, is you keep people talking. There's videos out there. There's videos out there, dude, that are, I swear, 5 years old. and you might even remember this, that it might even be older than this by now, but I seen people posting on it. The thing was 5 or 6 years old, and people are still posting on it like it just happened, like 2 weeks before that. It just totally amazes me how much passion you stir up in this sport, man. And that goes to show you the passion that you have. The passion, I mean, it comes across for some, it makes them angry. For others, it drives them and makes them want to be like you and want to succeed like you want to succeed. It's wild.
Well, you know what? You watch a NASCAR race and whatever. If you don't have passion, you don't show it, you're not trying hard enough. You don't care enough about the sport. So you cut out on me there, Roddy. Which video was you talking about? Do you keep watching?
I think it's the one from Glen Helen. I mean, where there was an inside line, where people had said, Joe was cutting the track, and you might have went over a pylon about 6 inches. I mean,
yeah. Well, it was a gray area, and I was honest about it then. I'll be honest about it now. The story was, and that was when all the factories were there and all the crybabies were there, and you had all the factory, crew chiefs and managers and coordinators and all this crappy, titles these guys didn't really need, but they were trying to milk the factories for all the money they can get. So you had these crybabies on the track, and without naming names, I mean, it was a 90-degree turn. They had a finger going into the turn and a finger exiting the turn. Well, I decided to jump diagonal across, and in the rule book states you can as long as you don't touch down. So I was jumping over the barrier, and when I did it, Corey Ellis did it, Callie did it, Keith Little did it, all the behind me did it. But I pulled the whole shot, I led the race, I won the race. So Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki, they're, nice gentlemen that they are, they decided to protest me. And they got the protest, but everybody else did it, but I was the leader, and I was leading the race, so monkey see, monkey do this. And since I started it, everybody, I did get protested.
That's wild, man. And see, I mean, it's really, like I say, it's really cool that you can still pull that up, man, and see those fresh posts on that. And I mean, now that's got to make you feel really good. I mean, to know that you can strike that much passion in the sport. I mean, like tonight, even on Quad Radio Live, it being a Wednesday, the day after Christmas, we're seeing some pretty heavy traffic on here. People checking in to see what's going on with Joe Byrd right now, actually.
There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, a lot of drama, and it just comes down to where it really all started was, here's the company starts winning with a low shoestring budget. And even when I got on with Factory Honda, those guys treated me like gold. Honda's been nothing but good to me since day one, but Honda's only spent about $400,000 doing ATV racing, and Suzuki and Kawasaki and some of these other guys are spending $3 and $4 million. Well, when the managers will go back to the factory the next day on Monday when Joe Byrd would win a race, they're like, okay, how'd you do? Oh, we got second. Well, why didn't we win? Well, who won? Joe Byrd won. Well, how does that manager go back and expect to keep his job when Honda's winning on a shoestring budget and these other manufacturers are losing? They're thinking, why are we spending $4 million when Honda's spending $400,000 and Joe Bird's winning? So that was a lot of problems with the manufacturers, and they decided, you know what, there's no sense in keep continuing to spend that kind of money because Honda's winning on a shoestring budget. So they would catch a lot of crap. So I think it was 06, 7, 8, 9, all those years I got protested almost every race because what they were trying to do is find me cheating or try to catch me cheating and make it look like, well, he's winning because he's cheating. And that simply didn't happen. All the protests, I won every protest, and that started all the drama and all the rumors, which, hey, we just took the money and ran. It was fine with us. It was a little more work for Bill and Chris, but you know what? That's where it all started.
That's great, though, man. I mean, and Joe, you mentioned earlier you've raced with some of the greatest in the sport over your time as an ATV motocrosser. I mean, you look back, and probably any name that you can throw out there, at one time or another, you've been on the track with those individuals, guys like Denton and guys like. Now, what about the great Donnie Banks? Did you ever get a race against Donnie Banks?
I got a good story about Donnie Banks. Me and Donnie Banks are good buddies now, but me and Donnie didn't race together. First, he invited me down to his place in Georgia to train. Long story short, I think it was 93 or 94, maybe one of those years. Me and Donnie was racing at Redbud. I was in second place. He was trying to come around me, and being the gentleman that I am, I didn't really want to let him come around me, so I eased over on him, and I'm pretty sure I took him out, and he hit a fence post, flipped over the bike, and had a flat tire. Well, he was, he got pretty pissed off and was ready to fight after the race, so he come up to my bike, I was trying to apologize to him, and he didn't want to hear it. He ran right over my bike, knocked me off the back of my bike. We got up, started swinging, and they had to separate us. Then afterwards, I got back on my bike, checked in his trailer. I think Duncan Race was in his trailer, and it all started over again. So, yeah, me and Donnie have raced together a time or two, and now we look and laugh on that. But, yeah, we raced together. He was a big boy back then, and, you know, I was a young guy coming up at the time, and we definitely had some battles on and off the track. But it was a lot of fun, and we joke about it now, and I still talk to Donnie every once in a while. But, yeah, you know, back you talking about Donnie Banks, I raced with, you know, guys, Marty Hart, who used to be the three-wheeler champion, Gary Denton, John Lucas, of course, Doug Gust, and all the guys. You know, I've been racing four-wheelers since four-wheelers started racing.
That's pretty wild. Now, obviously, you were bred. The passion that was bred into you was bred in from those guys. From what I understand, man, there was a lot of passion and a lot of drama that took place back in the early days, man.
Well, the factories were, those guys, you know, they were some, you know, old school stuff. You cut somebody off or you block past them too hard, you hit them, they're ready to fight, you know. You take, of course, you know, they wasn't making $30,000, $40,000 a win like some of the guys were a few years ago, but they're, you know, still $3,000 or $4,000 was a lot of money back in the late 80s. And these guys, you know, I've seen Donnie Luce, who's the manager of Yamaha now. I think Charlie Shepard ran over him at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. Well, he waited for him after the race, and he came in, he knocked him off his bike, and they started swinging. I mean, I don't know the whole story. I remember seeing it on video, but you know, so they can't say, you know, they wasn't passionate back then. They just soon bar fight us to, you know, apologize. Nowadays, you got too many buddies. Everybody's trying to kiss ass and make, you know, be. You know, we're not there to be everybody's friend. We want to go and take care of our sponsors, but we're there to win races. You know, I got enough friends at home. I don't need to try to have his ass in the front line to be his buddy.
Well, there you go, man. Well, I tell you what, you do have a lot of friends, Joe, because Outer Limits ATV Racing, they're checking in with us tonight. They want to thank Joe for taking the time to help kids in the ATV racing world. You've always been more than willing to talk and help them, man. So, I mean, it's little notes like that right there that's you know, again, fueling that passion, man. I mean, to hear things like that. I think...
What's 19, 20 years, however long that's been, since 93. You multiply that by an average of 250 to 300 riders a year. I've got, you know, what's that? Several thousand people. Or something that I've taught, and most of those have been anywhere from 6 years old to 26 years. And you know what? I teach a lot of people, they go to the profession, but I'm not doing these schools and learn just, you know, I may learn from a B rider how to hit this turn. He did something just right. I'm like, wow, that worked, you know. And, you know, you're never too good to learn. And that's what I always say. And sometimes I've learned from, you know, I watched Jeremy Lawson. Jeremy Lawson came through the ranks. He went for probably 8 of my schools, and he was one of the best students I ever had. And I learned a lot from him, you know, and vice versa. I'm sure he learned a lot from me, but it was just fun learning from Jeremy and Dustin Wimmer. He went to 6 of my schools and learned, you know, some things from him. But, you know, when you think you're too good to learn, that's when you're going to stop progressing.
Wow. You taught guys like Dustin Wimmer, man? He went to 6 of your schools? Seriously?
Oh, home, you know, they had, you know, they were, I mean, just good friends of ours. You know, they stayed here at the house several times, a few weeks at a time, and I believe he went to 6 of my schools. And from when he was on a blaster, then he got to, I believe he went up to 400X, and then he went to the amateur ranks, and then the year before he went pro, he was here at my house in Union City. They were deciding whether to go pro, I think, at Loretta Lynn's. I said, Dustin, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do a 30-minute moto out here. If I lap you, I don't want you going pro. If I don't lap you, you're welcome to go pro. Well, I didn't lap him. So he went pro, and he won. You know, he took 2 championships from me. He won some races. He's one of the best riders we've ever seen. A lot of talent. His mom was really professional, helped him with sponsors, and they had a good program going on. So hats off to him, you know. I taught him everything I could, and he took it from there and won some championship with it.
Now, that was kind of a bittersweet thing for you, I guess, to know that the things that you helped teach him helped him win a championship, but at the same time, he helped beat you in that same championship.
You're right. It was bittersweet. I don't want to win. I don't want to give me championship. You know, if I can't, I want to beat the best in order to be the best. You know, he earned that title. He did beat me in 08 and 09, and I got second those years. But you know what? It was good. I can put that on my resume. Not just that I won championships that I've helped guys, literally win championships by going through my school, and it's an honor to be able to say that. I've had the back quarters of the pro class have been to my riding school, and and at one time.
Well, how many you dropped out there just a second? You're kind of dropping out there just a second, Joe. Now, how many of those pro riders on the pro line was in your class you've taught at one time?
I believe it was 15 out of the 20 pro riders had been to my riding school that particular race I was watching.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Yep.
That's pretty wild.
And then if we looked at another race, I think one of the races, I don't know if it was 850 or 900 riders. I went and looked at all the names that signed up, and it was like 5 out of the 850 riders at the event had been to my riding school.
Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah, so that's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty a big honor to be able to say that and do that. Meet all the nice people that's in the race. Guys just race and go home. They don't take the time to help people out like that. It's been a lot of fun, enjoying teaching people and just meeting all the people. We can go in every state and almost every county in the U.S. and have somebody we know in ATV racing and hang out and ride with them or spend out. That's just a privilege that a lot of people don't have.
It is, man. And like I say, man, you're just a great ambassador for the sport worldwide, and I think that is awesome. And I know that you've been pretty busy today. I know you got some stuff going on. I think whenever I talked to you a few minutes ago, you were just getting out of the hot tub, jamming on some music, and said that Bill better be still working on quads, right?
I got to see Bill. I got to watch Bill. I went to the gym right before I got in the hot tub, and I invited Bill. Bill, he's ate a couple sausages over the last few weeks, and he's been complaining about his leg. He's getting tired working on the bike, and so I don't want him, if I were to fall off, I want him to be able to run to me fast enough to get it off of me. So I invited Bill to come into the gym with me and work out, and his excuse was, Joe, this stabilizer's not quite right. I got to make sure it's just right for you for tomorrow. I'm like, okay, I'll let you slide this time. We'll make sure the bike's right. So he passed on the gym tonight. So when I was in a hot tub chilling out, relaxing my muscles, I was jamming and thinking, well, I hope Bill's still working, and before I go on this quad radio, I better go double check. And sure, he was in here working. He's got, he's sitting over right now laughing at me. He's got greasy hands, and he's kind of smelly, but he does a great job.
That is great, man, and it's really good, Joe. I am super pumped. I'm super excited with all the great news that's been coming along. Like we mentioned there earlier, the social media step up that we've seen you do there, pretty amazing stuff there. If people want to follow you on Twitter, it's a simple at Joe Byrd School, right? At Joe Byrd School is Twitter. And then you've got your Facebook fan page, and you've also got I guess just a regular Facebook personal page, I guess, that they can check into and find out a little bit more about and keep up to date. And then you've also got the JoeByrd.com that has all the information about Joe Byrd Racing, Joe Byrd Quad Riding Schools coming up, pricing, what to do, how to get a hold of you, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, all that's correct, and. Somebody else runs a Facebook fan page for me, so if I don't answer that, that's somebody else that's doing it, and it's a nice, is willing to do that for me, but I'll run a personal one, and feel free to ask me anything on there, or if I don't get back, I'm either traveling or out of the country or something, but yet, all those are correct, and I'll be willing to answer any questions, or update everything pretty daily now, keep it all up and going, and try to get the sponsors their dues, and keep everything going for the whether we're something happening in testing or being able to create something that really works, whatever we're going to do. We're going to keep everybody updated. All
righty, man. That is awesome, and I'm glad to hear it. And also, Bill, if you want to follow Bill Mickey, it's at MXWrench27. You can follow Bill on that and be able to keep up to date with a lot of the tweets and everything that's going to be taking place through him as well. I think that is just so neat. I am super pumped and excited. I know this year there's going to be some pretty heavy hitters. I know that Chad and Thomas have teamed up together. T. Brown and Weenan have teamed up together. I know that Joel, I guess, is going back on a Honda. I don't know that John Natalia is switching some bike brands and stuff. So it ought to be a fairly interesting year coming up in 2013. It looks like.
Yeah, we're going to need an interesting year. We need to get these sponsors back involved, and everybody's got on this side-by-side craze the last couple of years, and the manufacturers supporting ATV racing, and which is a shame because just like the supermoto and just like the little 50 bike craze, all this stuff goes in fast. And ATV racing has still been here for 20 plus years, and it's going to come back around. And the Stadium Series that's coming out, we hope that works out good and gets us more TV coverage and gets the manufacturers kind of noticing us again. Like, when WPSA came out, they got all the manufacturers excited about going ATV racing. Well, that went away, and then the ATV Nationals were just practicing our market. Let's hope that the Series does the same thing. It's, it's because it's not really competition for the National, because you're only going to have a few pros do it, but it's just a pro class. Manufacturers see that and see us racing in front of 50, 60,000 people and on TV the very next week, and gets the marketing demographics out there and get the product marketing going for the manufacturers and get excited again. Get Suzuki re-releasing this bike and get this new Honda release that they're setting on, and get Kawasaki back excited and get these guys going again and get the youth riders some light at the end of the tunnel.
I agree wholeheartedly, Joe, and I think that it is it's great. It's positive stuff for the for ATV motocross racing, and I know that things are we're trying to work hand in hand. I know that things are. I'm excited. I think it's. Good things are on the horizon as far as all that is concerned, and it's always good to say that you can always learn from past mistakes, and I think that people are going to work on making sure that no other mistakes like were made in the past are made, and nothing suffers, and we continue to advance ATV racing, which is kind of what we're all out to do anyway, man. I mean, that's the whole goal. That's what Quad Radio is all about. I want to try to get the word out. I mean, heck, it ain't tens of thousands. Well, yeah, it's tens of thousands of people, and it is worldwide, but it ain't millions of people yet. Soon, hopefully, it will be. And Joe, I know that you're reaching out in every way, shape, or form, probably as much or more than anybody I've ever seen do it throughout their career. And again, we just got to take these little steps and keep them going, man. And Joe, as we come to a close tonight, man, I just again want to say thanks for being on the show. Thanks for what you've done for ATV motocross, and I know what you've got up your sleeve for ATV motocross in the future. And whatever happens by the end of the 2013 season, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of ups, a lot of downs, some drama, some good things, some bad things, man. I want to shake your hand at the end of it all and smile and laugh with you. All right, brother?
Yeah, we're looking forward to having a good time, and we can't wait for the first round of Georgia. It can't come soon enough.
Oops, I think I might have lost you, Joe. You still there?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, go for that again, man. Looking forward to Georgia.
We're excited about Georgia. We're looking forward to it. It can't come soon enough. I got Bill's all excited. We got these new bikes and got a lot of new things we're doing with them. So he's eager, just as eager as I am. So we're going to be there, ready to go.
All righty, man. That is great to hear. And Joe, any other parting shots or anything that you want to pass along before we let you go this evening?
Well, you know what? I've run my mouth and Bill's sitting over there like a little wet puppy. He ain't got to say much. But you might want to ask him one parting question so he feels all warm and fuzzy.
All righty, I will. And actually, I got a message for him right here on the chat room right now. The chat room, the Ohio crew, and you might know who that is. It says, "Tell Bill to lay off the burgers."
I'll try.
Well, Bill, let me tell you, man, like I was telling Joe there, man, it is just great that you guys have gotten back together. I think you're an awesome team. I think that you two are going to make for an interesting and exciting 2013 season, man. Looking forward to it all.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. My rider's on a diet. I got this bike on a diet. I think it's going to be a good time in Georgia.
Got the bike on a diet. Is the bike actually losing weight, man? Are you really lightening things up there?
More than I am.
Well, at least something's losing weight anyway, huh?
Right.
Well, that's good, man. And so let me ask you, man. Does I hear a rumor that Joe Byrd makes a list for everybody that's in his camp and at the compound every day, man? Does he make a list for you every single day?
Oh, I've always got a list. I could have everything done, shop floor shining, and I'd still have a list.
No rest for the weary, huh? No rest for the weary.
That's it. Always on me. Keeps me going.
That's good, man. And, obviously it must work for both of you because you guys really do well together, and I hope the best for you this year, man. Good luck to you, all right?
Thank you. Will do.
All righty. That is the world-famous Bill Mickey. Again, at MXWrench27 on Twitter. If you want to follow him, I'm sure you can find him on Facebook as well. Joe Byrd and Bill, again, thanks for being a part of this Quad Radio Live segment tonight.
It was an honor, and we're looking forward to seeing you soon, Rodney.
All righty. That is, again, Joe Byrd, of course, and his mechanic, Mr. Bill Mickey. And we want to say thanks to you for tuning in to our rendition of Quad Radio Live tonight. Again, thanks to our friends at Tire Balls, as well our friends over at Impact Solutions, ATV, the factory-authorized service center for Elco suspension and SSI decals. Want to remind you folks, Tire Balls 2013, they have sponsorship deals available for you, and 10% added to that if you mention Quad Radio. Just click on the icon on the quadradio.com website at the top of the page there, the Tire Balls ad, and that'll take you to the email address you need to go to, and you can ask any and all the questions you need about all your tire ball accessories. That'll do it for this edition of Quad Radio Live. For Joe Byrd and Bill Mickey, I'm Rodney Tomlin. This is Quad Radio.